Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living.
As a carpenter, writes Roy Lessin, Jesus worked with a hammer, nails, and wood. When he picked up a hammer, he knew that one day a hammer would be raised up against him. When his hand drove in a nail, he knew that one day nails would be driven into him. When he worked with wood, he knew that one day there would be a tree where he would offer up his life. Why the hammer? Why the nails? Why the wood? It all has to do with worth. Not his worth, but yours. Jesus knew your true value, and that's why he died. But how much are you, a single individual, perhaps without power, influence, money, or education, really worth? There's a great deal of difference between value and worth. In my file is an article which assesses the chemicals and elements found in a human body, and it tells what their monetary value is. Yet combined, they constitute a person, an individual, one of a kind, made in the image of God. And all the gold in a Swiss bank can't balance the worth of an individual. A Sunday school teacher ended her Bible story and wanted some discussion to see if she had gotten her point across. "Why does God love us so very much?" she asked. Nobody responded. She asked the second time. Finally, a hand went up. "Yes," encouraged the teacher. "Because he has only one of us," replied the little girl. When it comes to your existence in relationship to God, the relationship is strictly one-on-one. No one else sees with your eyes, feels what you feel, and thinks what you think. You are unique, one of a kind without duplication. So this brings up the issue. What is your true worth in God's sight? On the internet is a website known as eBay.com, and when people want to sell something, they can post a picture of what they'd like to dispose of along with a starting price. Then people bid for the item. It's a great way to get rid of things you no longer want or need, which may be of value to someone else. My daughter, the mother of 2 wonderful boys, gave up on having a daughter and decided it was time to get rid of her dolls, now some 30-something years old. A sassy doll which Bonnie had been given when she was a little girl and had kept hoping someday to pass it on to her daughter, sold for over $150. Unbelievable! Why so much for a little girl's doll that had cost only a small fraction of what it sold for? It was worth that to the person who bought it. That's why your true worth, friend, can be assessed only in terms of what God was willing to sacrifice to bring you back into fellowship with Him, namely His own Son. The cross is not an abstract idea or a theological concept. It's the bottom-line picture of sacrifice, the hard, cold price of what God paid because He loves you as an individual. You're not a mistake, a quirk of human nature, a reject cast off on the restless tide of humanity. When you were conceived, you were endowed with a human soul and were made with the image of God. Any worship which removes the cross to make it more palatable to the general public not only eviscerates Christianity, but takes away the only true representation of how God views your worth. When you want to know what your worth is in God's sight, take a look at the cross and say, "That's the answer."
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living. If you would like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our e-commentary, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. That's info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.